Hi guys, welcome, and today I'm going to be talking about why the prices of leather goods are increasing last year, this year, and maybe next year. And also I will be talking about the state of secondhand luxury market. I had lumped it into my last video when I was recording it. I wanted to talk about updates about mid-range luxury bags. A bunch of them have had price increases or will be having price increases. And I wanted to talk about why that might be happening. And then also had included news and statistics about the secondhand luxury market, because to me that kind of falls into mid-range luxury. Basically, when luxury is sold secondhand, it's mid-range prices, mid-range quality. Of course, it depends on different brands and of course who the first owner was and how well they took care of their items. But I do find that there's a lot of value in the secondhand luxury market that is still kind of untapped. So if that interests you, please stay tuned. I really want to touch upon the increase of prices of leather goods in general. I did a little bit of research, because I understand there are yearly price increases for luxury brands. I just thought it was a little bit unusual that brands like Moschino, which are, I'm sure they try to stay on the more affordable side. They're not part of a big conglomerate. They usually don't want to do a price increase unless they have to. And the fact that Moschino did one last year and then is doing it again this year, and then a Fleuron, I was wondering what's going on. So I did a little Google search, and it turns out that due to a couple of factors, leather prices in general are increasing across the board. So based on forecasts and industry analysis, as of early 2026, leather prices are projected to remain high or continue rising. It says analysts expect a price shock to become more prominent in 2026, with prices for leather goods potentially climbing another 22% over the next 1 to 2 years. So first, there's the tariffs for the US. Even though they started last year, a lot of people pre-bought things. They stockpiled in anticipation for the tariffs. Now, basically those stockpiles are gone. So they are starting to need to import again, and that's when the tariffs are hitting hard, and then that is being passed down to the consumer. Also, there is a shrinking of the US cattle herd size. So the supply of hides are down. So if supply is down, prices go up. Oh, and then supply chain issues, as always, I guess, and higher freight cost. So all of that means I think you're going to be seeing a price increase from pretty much every leather goods brand, I think, across the board sometime this year or early next year. So, I've said it in the past, and I've heard it in actually a lot of Japanese YouTubers, but like the cheapest time to buy something is right now, which is a terrible overconsumption mindset, but also kind of true. But of course, if you don't use the item, that's a complete waste anyway. And so, with the higher leather prices, you are now looking at a growth of the resale market. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that right now, because I've been a huge secondhand thrifter buyer for a long time, which is funny because my mom is very much not. I did not grow up with it. She's actually very grossed out by secondhand goods, especially clothes, bags, shoes, jewelry. I think for clothes, at least, she's like, what if someone died in them? And, but I'm like, well, if they washed it, I would know if it's gross or not, right, at the store. I don't really think about it. Honestly, I probably shop mostly at Crossroads, which is they buy back clothing. So already there is a curation there. But yeah, bags, if you've been following my channel, I'm a huge fan of buying secondhand bags. I wanted to go over it real quick, actually, because I found some really interesting stuff about the secondhand market. So this is from Business of Fashion. Most of their data here looks like it's from ThredUp and Global Data, which I don't know what that is. But basically, the secondhand apparel market is growing, slated to reach $317 billion by 2027. Affordability is sort of the main key driver for this, but also, sustainability, luxury access, uniqueness, and the thrill of the hunt. Honestly, these are all things that get me to buy secondhand. I love the thrill of the hunt, and also like getting a good deal. So as you know, most of my things come from Brandier, which is an eBay reseller in Japan. So a lot of my secondhand bags all come from Japan, because they do take very good care of their luxury items. So they talk about global resale market here. They find that China, which is a newer resale market, goes for mainly luxury goods like watches, bags, accessories, while like places like UK, where thrifting has been a thing for a long time, you know, they're more likely to buy clothes. US being outerwear is the #1 product. I never buy outerwear used, hardly ever. One, because I hardly buy outerwear in general. Like I buy it once and then I'll use it for 5 to 10 years. But also because it's so much harder to clean. Yeah, some interesting things. Also, in this article is the first time I've heard the word firsthand. So first-hand products, which is basically brand new products, versus second-hand products or items, which I thought that was pretty interesting. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye.